My name is Victoria. I was born in Russia, but I lived in several countries. The longest I lived in Switzerland and in Hong Kong prior coming to Mexico. So I'm here about a year, and I enjoy to live in this country very much. I was looking for a place where I can raise my kids and more where people have like more family culture, family oriented. They're like more relaxed, chilled. They're not too much into consumerism and money, success, which defines by the things that you own. And I really like about Mexicans and Mexican culture that they like to gather together with family, with friends, spend time. They like to help each other. So I found it's very important, and they have a good life-work balance, and they know how to enjoy life. So that was the primary reason. I also like that Mexico is a very big country, has so many different climates, so many different things to visit and enjoy, the nature, the history, so rich. Of course, the cuisine is amazing. So it has everything to offer. So I think you can live many years in Mexico and just visit different states, and every time it will be like another country. So I decided that, okay, we need to move somewhere because Hong Kong became a very different place. So I started to research what are the options where I can get the residency, potentially citizenship. And I had some Mexican friends in Hong Kong who told me about the country and different places where they lived. And I did a lot of, I think for 6 months, like every day I was researching information on the documents, on pros and cons. I did my spreadsheet, like listing all the pros and cons, all the criteria that I want, and Mexico won. And I watched so many like YouTube videos, I read so many blogs about different regions, different cities, experience of different people, especially those who live in Mexico, not those who just visit and show some sightseeing. No, who spent here several years, who already maybe became like Mexican in heart and have like real experience. Because we came here like not to live this expat life, like we want like to integrate in the culture, in the society. That's all that I don't know like how many things that I read and watched, but it was very helpful. Actually, because already before coming here, I listed a number of cities that I thought might be, suitable for us. So in Querétaro was like on the top of the list. I had some concerns like about the altitude because it's high in the mountains, and also because it's like dry climate and they're used to the tropical climate in Hong Kong. So I think, okay, how are we going to do in the dry climate? But actually it's pretty awesome. They found it's really perfect. Even my children we visited 4 different states prior coming to here, and when we came here, spent maybe a week, and they're like, we love it here. Can we stay? So I also loved it here. Yeah, like why we chose Querétaro? Because it's relatively big city, but it's not too big. So you can find everything here, like all the services you can imagine, like lots of activities for the kids, lots of entertainment. It's very beautiful. Actually, the historical center, I'm in love with it. Like first time I visit, I almost cried, like how beautiful and charming it is. Plus, because it's not touristic, I don't like touristic places because it's totally different mentality of the locals. It's not good, I think, for the family life. And Querétaro is good for the family. Government always provides some free or very reasonable activities, festivals for children, for adults. The city is very clean. Really clean. One of the cleanest. The roads are really good. I was so pleasantly shocked with the road, especially coming here from Quintana Roo. I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's so easy to drive here. Also, it has big selection of schools, universities, anything you need. And it's very well located, so it's in the center, so within like 1, 2, 4 hours you can visit volcanoes, waterfalls, like amazing nature campsites, plus the other historical, like Pueblos Mágicos, San Miguel de Allende, Guanajuato, yes, so many things. And Mexico City is not that far. So it's really a combination of all of that. And funnily enough, my friends in Hong Kong, they had some relatives who live here, and those people were so amazing. Like, I was a friend of their niece somewhere in Hong Kong, and they took me in like I was their family, like I was their niece long lost. So really, they really took care of me whenever I had the questions or trouble or needed to, because of my limited Spanish. So they always come to the rescue. They always welcome me in their house, like for any like Christmas or whatever, any holidays. So it's really, really touching. I became much more relaxed and like maybe I hope adopted half like part of this Mexican, laid back style of life. I feel very happy here because I started to build my new circle of friends, of connections. Also, I enjoy all of these like different festivals and activities. So we'll have a lot of interesting activities where we meet lots of people. Like for example, recently there was this huge festival. 57 countries were present. There is the food and goods and dances and songs. And it was amazing. Like we met so many interesting people there, and we tried cuisines from all over the world. So that was really great. And it's only like one weekend, and almost every weekend there is something. So I feel happy here, much happier than before. The hardest thing in Mexico for me is dealing with bureaucracy. It's a really nightmare, and it's really not clear. Just like yesterday, I had this trouble with some documents for the car. And oh my God, I had to visit several offices, and like then I need to go to pay some tiny fee, but like in a completely different place. It's so like badly organized. So that's really hard. Yeah. So apart from that, like I didn't experience much difficulties. Well, my favorite thing is sobremesa. Like when people gather together, they eat and then they talk. And then that's very close to Russian culture, I would say, because that's what we used to do. And when I was little, like always had some guests in the house, and they talk about different places they visit, different things, in life, from philosophy to, news. Yeah, so that's great when people have this like really nice human interaction. And it's not something like rare, and people are much closer to each other. For example, like comparing to the US, the people live far and they don't have enough time for that, and maybe they don't even have this habit or culture to gather that often. So here, that I like very much. Mexicans are very easy to become friends with, so they're very accepting. They're very interested in other cultures and other people. So it's pretty easy. And I also participate in and organize some women's circles, like when women gather together, they share, they dance together, drink tea, share about the experience. And I met some really nice Mexican ladies there. Because my Spanish is not perfect, I joined like more English-speaking groups and gatherings. But again, the good thing about Querétaro is many people speak English here, and pretty good ones, so the level of education is quite high, and it's not hard to find Mexican friends who speak good English. So you can have like really deep conversation with them. It's not only about some basic stuff. It's about your life and everything. Well, if you live in Querétaro, I think you can manage without Spanish because people are eager to help. And even like at first, whenever I had a difficult situation, there's always someone nearby would just come to the rescue. Like someone here that some foreigner is struggling, and if they speak English, they would immediately come and translate. Of course, you shouldn't rely on that, and if you live in the country and consider living like for some years, and Spanish is not a difficult language to learn. It's very clear and I think easy to grasp. But you can get by. Yeah, I'm renting. That's maybe one of the downside of Querétaro. It's not that easy to rent here, although like lots of properties are available, but the terms are very complicated. Okay, first of all, you need to be a resident. If you're tourist visa, I don't think there is any chance to rent like longer term. Then you need to provide a proof of income or savings, and someone needs to co-sign, and they need to like sign some promissory notes. I found this house. I really like it. It's not big, but it's like enough for my family, and it has like really nice green area, and this place is like very family oriented. There are lots of children here, so my kids can play with them. There's a playground, the facilities, swimming pool for kids, swimming pool for adults, gym, some green areas where kids play football or like can have birthday parties. So there's everything. Yeah, Khorikia is a very convenient area. It's very well developed. It has any shops that you need, has lots of services that you might need. So basically, if you don't need any particular office or any particular thing in the center, you can just live in Khorikia without even like going out much. Also for people who don't have cars, sometimes they rent here because lots of things can be like walking distance. I still think like it's much better to have a car in Querétaro because it's a big city and the distances are quite far. There are other very nice areas, but I think Khorikia is a kind of like safe neighborhood. Also, it's quite green. So they have some small parks. They have good facilities for children, like special park for the skateboarding, bicycles, and like all of these kind of sports. They have even dog park for those who own pets. So that's amazing. But it's also not too far like from the city center. If no traffic, it's like only 20 minutes. So it's well located as well. So overall, I found it's a good combination. Of course, because it's so well developed, it's tend to be like the price is higher. So of course, you have to pay for all of that. But so far, it's okay. The rent for this house is a 3-bedroom house, and all of this management fee is included, is 18,000 pesos. Then utilities, for example, for the gas per month is like 700 pesos. Then electricity is 900 and water is 600. So that's for the family of 4. The food, I shop in the supermarket, so it's maybe more expensive comparing to if I could shop in the local markets, but I'm not there yet because the local markets that I like and know, they're a bit far. It's harder for me to estimate. I don't know, maybe it's 20,000 a month, maybe, because we came from Asia and my children, they love Asian food, which is expensive here. Consider it like exotic food. So I told them, okay, they need to change to the Mexican food, right? Which they like. But yeah, once in a while we still miss Asian food. Maybe because, as I said, like I shop mostly in the supermarkets and like we buy some exotic food, our expenses is a bit high. Plus, peso became more expensive. So it actually, like Mexico was more expensive than I expected because when I did research, during this, between the time and the time I came, it's already the prices went up, plus the inflation, of course. So yeah, that's something to be prepared for, like not rent something like crazy expensive to the maximum of your budget, not buy like very expensive car, and like try not to do like, like, yeah, just to be reasonable with your budget. So, but I wouldn't call it like cheap, right? Because it's a city where people earn quite good wages. They're well educated. They have good jobs, so they have money. Plus, there are quite a number of expats here who also spend money. So I think it's maybe like a bit higher than the like average on the country, let's say. The reality for foreigners who want to move to Mexico, and I think in Latin America in general, that they should have some income from abroad. I have some business in Hong Kong, which I get money from. Plus, I work online. So I have two projects which I do online. One is like personal and business coaching. It's called Celebrate Life. It's for people who want to transition like to better place of work, or maybe open their own business and they need support and find strengths, and maybe they want to move to another like higher stage of their life. And then another one is called Motherhood Support Circle, which is supporting women through pregnancy, birth, and postpartum period. And I also do sessions and therapy on the trauma. So those are the things that I can do online. So I educate, I provide sessions, I work with people everywhere in the world. So that's, I think, what most foreigners are doing here, and that's something for people who consider moving, that they need to be prepared to have some income in other currencies and then to live here in Mexico. The only thing that like you need a good internet connection. So before renting a place, it's better to ask in some expat groups or like in the neighborhoods what's the situation. Because it could be spotty. Even like one privada has good connection and another one somehow not. So I'm lucky here that, okay, I changed the plan that was here, increased it, and so far the connection was pretty good. Sometimes there are some hiccups, but overall it's fine for me. Yes, my kids like Mexico. They made friends already, and they like that there's so many festivals and activities available for them. They like the climate as well, so it's like around the year they can be outside a lot. Yeah, overall they like the food, like they even make themselves tacos and some like easy like quesadillas. It's important for them, as I said, like, in this privada they have lots of children, and it makes a big difference for them. There are lots of playgrounds around, lots of activities, like, for example, martial arts. My older one, they like martial art, they like archery. There are also horses here, like there are lots of ranches around, and haciendas with horses. And overall, like, there are lots of animals. Like, our situation maybe is a bit different because my children, they go to like kind of alternative school. It's considered educational center, because I'm not a big fan of like regular schools, international schools. We tried everything, but for the last 5 years before we came here, I was homeschooling them. And one of the reasons we left Hong Kong, because in China, homeschooling is illegal, and it started to kind of influence Hong Kong, and they started to make life really hard for parents who homeschool. And I found this really amazing school. It's like not far from Horiki, just 15 minutes drive, where they have individual approach for every student. It's a small school. They have 35, 40 kids per campus. And each of my kids have their individual schedule based on their needs. So that's amazing. What I like about that school, that my kids didn't experience any bullying, any negativity from their classmates, and the teachers are extremely nice. And the subject they teach, they're absolutely amazing. Like, they have emotional intelligence, they have public speaking skills, etc. So basically, this school, the fee is also reasonable. It's less than like these big international schools. Plus, the school is in a very nice area with lots of nature around, big park, and they very often go picnic, some outing. So they're in the nature. There are horses around. Yeah, so they're not stuck in the classroom. They spend very little time in the classroom. And then they have, instead of the classes, they have projects and workshops. That's pretty amazing. There are lots of like this kind of alternative system schools here, like Montessori, Waldorf, anything you want. The driving in Mexico, well, it could be hard in some regions because of the quality of the roads. In Querétaro, I found it's fine because the roads are like good quality, not many holes or anything. And I found, for example, the driving style is less aggressive than in Los Angeles, for example. So people are more relaxed, they're very polite, the roads are very wide, very well maintained. So for me, it's fine. But again, like I came from Russia, was driving in Russia, and I compare with that. And I found the drivers are more polite, and police doesn't harass you as much, which could be different in other regions of Mexico. Well, because we are residents, we can, I think, for difficult cases, we can use like government facilities, but like we don't have extra medical insurance. Our family is quite healthy, so I take like preventive measures so they don't get sick. I don't wait for that. Like we had maybe a couple of times we needed to address the doctor, and we went to just nearest public place, and it was fine. So the doctor, like, sometimes maybe it's hard to find a doctor who speaks English. If like you recommended a good specialist, it's better to ask for recommendations. That's what I would advise, like from other experts or from Mexicans, even better. We had good experience. The doctor was very knowledgeable, and whatever she prescribed was helpful, and it was sufficient. And the price, like we just paid cash, and the price was okay. So it's not cheap, but it's not crazy expensive. Again, like comparing to the US, here medicine is super, super reasonable. Like lots of people I know come for this medical tourism here, which I found very justifiable, because the service is good, the quality is good mostly, and the price is so much better than in the US. I think it was through the Facebook, maybe some posts or some recommendation, or maybe some videos were posted, and several times I was directed to the website because I was researching about different cities. So, for example, Ajijic, and then I found Mexico Relocation Guide with all of the details about Ajijic. So I read, I think, all of the free materials they provided. Overall, I found it's very useful because it gives very structured overview of different places and things that you can expect, and maybe things that you should be prepared not to have shock. It's very useful because when all the information is updated and in one place and structured, is so much easier. Not everyone has so much time, right, for research, because like I had my own business, I had my own time, so I could do it. Plus, I had maybe like some experience in analytics and all of that. But for many people, if they are like working full time and they need to do it quicker, it's absolutely invaluable, because then they could find everything, and even like the agents and the links and everything. Otherwise, you would spend like hours to research and find this information. So that saves a lot of time and money. I feel happy maybe that because here I could find lots of people with this similar mindset, and having your tribe is very important. That I learned through like moving to different countries. So having people who have the same values, same intentions, and they're also foreigners. It's not like you're like such minority that you can scarcely find any other foreigner, right? Here, there are lots of people who came in the last 3-4 years, so they're also relatively new. So that's why when you have this like kind of support group, people who know, like for example, if I need something for the kids, ask this group of moms or moms who are already here, and they always have recommendation either for the activity or things like to buy, particular things to buy, or doctor or anything. And there are lots of support from other experts on Facebook, on like different WhatsApp groups. So it's really good how people are supporting. I think they also kind of adapt to Mexican culture, like supporting newcomers, welcoming them, which is great. Yeah, so that's why I feel like comfortable, and I know, like if I have any problem or trouble or question, there will always be someone to help me with. And potentially, I'm thinking to find a place to buy land and have some like self-sustainable home and grow, because Mexican soil is very rich. Like you can grow lots of food, you can live like quite independent. Lots of people do it here. That was one of the reasons we chose Mexico, because it has a big territory and has lots of regions that you can do it. So maybe at some point when like my kids are a bit older, so they can help more, or maybe if they don't want, they can just stay in the city, right? So that's my idea. Maybe that's for my retirement, I can do that. For people who consider moving but they're afraid, check as much as you can before arrival and do some testing trips prior if you can, available, that you can find that help people with precisely that. They do tours of the city, they show them different areas, they help them with all of the documents and relocation and everything. So I think it's reasonable to seek the local help, especially if it's your first move and if it's like from very different place and you don't speak the language. It's absolutely necessary. So that would be my advice. And it's an adventure. So if you have a taste for adventure, that would be fun. Well, I'm more on the adventurous side, so for me, it's fine. I enjoy that. Find positive things and something to admire about the country, its culture, its history. Like, find something that you can connect with, something that, as I said, like similar to your own culture, to your own preferences. And then it's easier to make friends and to be positive about your relocation. Plus, expect that lots of things that you consider it like normal or taken for granted in your home country not going to exist here. But it's okay, you just need to be prepared and research before. Plus, I think it's very important to bring something that you can offer to this country, to these people, whatever you can find, some kind of volunteering work or some kind of, helping other people. I think it's important that you're not coming here to consume and okay, I pay money, so now you own me, but you think what you can offer to this country, to these people.